share this to a few pages or something? Is it going?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, is there anyone there? This feels very, very strange to be doing this way. All right, we have like 5 people online. Do I just start talking? I guess I just start talking. Okay. Alrighty, sorry I'm a bit late. I couldn't get this set up on my phone, so I'm doing it off my laptop, and I hope the audio is all right. So, hello everybody. Oh wow, there's people saying hello. Technology. Okay, cool. I guess I'll just start like answering some of the questions that came in on Patreon, because they get, they're front of the queue because they support me so kindly on Patreon. Right, I'm just going to dive into some questions. This is so weird. This is one of the weirdest things I've ever done. And I've done some weird shit. So, yeah, here we go. All right, first question. How have you continued to combine the different music activities from Zanias, Linear Aspera, Fleisch Records in the last years? And will there be reissues of Keloir material? The answer to like the combining of my different projects is that I actually find it really difficult to combine everything because I like to do all these different things, and combining them it's hard because obviously like Fleisch is representing kind of a different style of music from what I make with Linear Aspera and with Zanias. And for a brief moment, Zanias kind of overlapped with Fleisch, like with the Extinction EP. But other than that, they're all expressing like very different parts of my personalities. So I just sort of run them all parallel to each other in a very chaotic way, which is the reason why I'm terrible at answering messages and terrible at like getting things done in general, because I'm so scattered all the time. And yeah, will there be reissues of Keloir material? The answer to that is probably not. Yeah, I can't really talk too much about that. Next question. Any major tour plans for a tour on this album in the next year or two? The answer is yes, definitely. The problem is that, the Linear Aspera album came out last year, and then this year, finally, we're able to tour with it. So all the tour dates and all the time is just going to be going to Linear Aspera for a little while. But as soon as that's all sort of out of the way and we've toured enough, then I'll be able to tour with Zanias. So it'll probably be like this delay between the release of the album and the touring. And maybe I'll even have another album out by then. Who knows? Next, where is your favorite place to tour? I really loved touring the States. That was super fun because I loved to drive across the desert. Yeah. And we're definitely going to be touring the US next year with Linear Aspera. Now that the borders are opened, it's pretty exciting. We can finally do things. And yeah, Zanias also potential USA dates again, of course. Some that are really exciting. More on that soon. So, and then what's the worst experience you've had on tour? There have been a lot. Touring is a very chaotic thing where lots of things can go wrong, particularly when you're crossing borders with drugs in the car, which they weren't my drugs, but crossing from Portugal to Spain, there were some pretty aggressive like drug dogs that found weed on someone who was in the car with us. And that was really, really stressful because we thought we were all going to go to jail. And actually nothing ended up happening and it was fine, but it was pretty scary. And the coolest place I've filmed a Zanias video. That's the next question. You guys have seen the cool places. I think my favorite was probably in Unraveled, the bit where I'm in the wind and stuff. That was filmed at Double Island Point in Queensland, which is a really, really awesome place. Very difficult to get to. Yeah. I've got questions like coming all over the place. This is a bit chaotic. I feel like I need to talk really fast to get through them all. Oh, someone mentioned the artwork behind me, and I should point that out. That is by Sergey Skip, who also did the artwork for my album. So he sells these amazing prints called Structura, and this is just one of the designs. And it's huge, and also I broke the glass trying to put it up today because I wanted it to be in the background for this. So it was really difficult. It was very heavy. Oh, and by the way, weren't my drugs? Yeah, right, lol. Okay, I need to reply to this. They definitely were not my drugs, but I did have weed vapes, you know, the liquid ones that you buy in California. And the drug dogs sniffed my bag that contained the vapes right afterwards, said, "No, we don't have any more drugs on us, we promise." The dogs sniffed my bag, and I was like, okay, this is it. This is it. I just lied to the police, and they didn't catch them. So yeah, those liquid vapes are safe to travel with. Don't you know, this is not legal advice, but drug dogs couldn't detect them. So there we go. And I use weed to sleep. I'm an insomniac. Favorite visual artist? Okay, obviously Sergey right now. He's one of my top faves. I also really love the work of Donna Haringway, who does amazing video stuff. He's in the room right now. Um, what's your favorite band these days? Gosh, band. See, I mainly like sort of individual artists. What's my favorite band? What have I been listening to? I can't remember. You know what I've been listening to a lot? I've been listening to a lot of Linkin Park. I fucking revisited that, and god damn it, like that shit was so good. That album was so fucking good. Hybrid Theory. It came out when I was like 12 or something, and I remember absolutely loving it. And I listened to it again, and fuck, that shit is so good. It was so ahead of its time. And yeah, I'm like a massive Linkin Park fan. So I'm just gonna put that out there right now. That's a band I've been listening to a lot lately. Oh, guilty pleasure band growing up. I mean, you could say that Linkin Park was a guilty pleasure, but like it also isn't, because I don't feel guilty for that at all. Like everyone fucking loved them. In my generation, everyone loved them. They were sick. And I saw them, they were one of the first bands I saw play live, because they were one of the only bands to actually come and play in Malaysia, which is where I was living. Favorite pop artist, obviously Grimes. Like that's just too easy. Do you ever plan to reactivate the Kelvar project? Sorry, no, not gonna happen. Wait, let me go back to the Patreon questions. I kind of lost track of those. Oh, have I seen Dune on the big screen? Not yet. I booked my tickets to go see it today, and I can't wait. I'm actually gonna like microdose on acid when I go see it, because I want to just get like the full IMAX experience. Should I be saying this stuff on YouTube? Probably not, but anyway, it's fine. God, where am I? What do you think about American muscle cars? That's an interesting question. I don't really think very much about them. Like, I think this is probably the first time they've entered my consciousness in a long time, but cool if you're into them. Oh, can you tell us some more about Linear Aspera LP2 and the story about the songs? Well, that album's just all about a really bad breakup mainly, and trying to sort of correlate those feelings with concepts from quantum physics, which I found super fascinating at the time. And I just really like to connect science with emotions. And you know, the first Linear Aspera LP was written when I was studying archaeology, so there was a lot of archaeological references in that, and I decided to move on to a different subject for LP2. So LP1 is archaeology, and LP2 is physics. And maybe the next Linear Aspera album will be chemistry or something. I don't know. I need to keep things interesting. Yeah, cool. I need to slow down. I feel like I'm moving at a million miles an hour. This is so strange. So yeah, will I organize a tour of South America? Definitely. Eventually, this will happen. It just takes a really long time to figure these sorts of things out with like big tours and flights and the rest of it. Oh, did I finish my archaeology degree? Yes, I did. I have a Bachelor of Science in Archaeology, which I have never ever used, not once. All right, I'm going back to the Patreon questions. So this one, last time around, I brought up a slight frustration with the day-to-day of urban living in relation to Berlin, so I was asked how I'm finding it now, and the answer to that is that I really, really hate living in a city, and I can't wait to stop living in a city because I think I'm like I think like most humans don't really enjoy being in cities, maybe, or I feel like everyone gets kind of used to this sense of like "Arr," that we have when we're living here. And when once you're out for a little while and you realize what like baseline can really be, that baseline can be calm and easy. Then coming back to a city and being surrounded by people. I'm also just super sensitive, so it's probably something to do with that. But yeah, I just can't do cities anymore. I don't think I'm going to live in Berlin much longer. I need to live somewhere where I can surf. Favorite place I've ever tripped. um, well, definitely Berghain has been pretty cool at times. Like depending on the type of trip. If you're going for like recreational trip, like in Berghain, I did also like kind of see God for a moment while Silent Servant was playing. But yeah, like that was definitely the most fun recreational place. But then the most spiritually captivating place was at my parents' house where I smoked 5-MeO DMT with my sister and my cousin. It was super lovely, and it changed everything. So yeah, highly recommend 5-MeO DMT to anyone out there wanting to drop their trauma or like just instantly lose their ego. It's a very interesting molecule. And yeah, throw some more questions at me, guys. What else have I got? What else have I got? Oh, whose opinion in music do you really respect? Any peers, any heroes? Definitely my partner in crime, Donna Haringway, who's right here judging me. I really respect his opinion because he's actually like a lot like me. We have very similar taste, and it's nice to have someone to bounce ideas off. And another one is my friend Hayden, aka Faze Fatal. He's like he's probably one of the only people in my circle who like I can definitely like always go with questions to him and he has an answer to them and stuff. He's very pragmatic. So yes.
There's someone asking if you're gonna play with Black Rain again.
Oh, am I going to play with Black Rain again? I would love to at some point. I don't know when that's going to be possible. There have been like a few things in the pipeline over the years, but it's really hard to get everyone together. So that's a difficult one. I'm not sure.
Oh, what do you eat on tour?
What do I eat on tour? On the Buzzcull tour, I ate a lot of these chocolate lava cakes because you can get them in the supermarket in France. And for some reason, we were just always in France. So every time we went to the supermarket, I'd go and get a pack of 2 chocolate lava cakes and a fuck ton of cream, and I'd eat those. Um, they really kept me going. But most of the time, I do actually try to eat like healthy, good food on tour. That's a kind of a primary focus of mine because I absolutely can't survive like if I'm not eating a decent amount of vegetables and stuff. I try to eat healthy. I'm not super unhealthy. Um, sorry, what was that? I need some more questions here. You're moving too fast.
The age-old debate: pineapple on pizza.
Oh, pineapple on pizza, definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah. Okay. What's my zodiac sign? It is Virgo. And just on the record, I don't really do astrology because it's just too unscientific for me. But I totally respect people who gain something from it, gain enjoyment and self-realization from it and stuff. I think that's cool. I just think there are better ways to go about it. Like, I think the Enneagram is really awesome. Like, if any of you guys have tried doing the Enneagram personality test, you get some really interesting feedback about yourself. And the thing that I like about it is that you're actually, you're putting input in from you to get the output of information about you. Whereas with astrology, it's just like the input is just your date of birth. Like, what, you had no control over that. There's not enough input into the system for the output to be believable, if that makes any sense. So yeah, the Enneagram to me is like way more of a trustworthy kind of self-exploratory system. And then there's also the other, like the Myers-Briggs personality test, although that one I always come out with different results for depending on when I take it. The Enneagram is really solid. And for the record, I'm a type 4 on the Enneagram. Best live band I've ever seen? Linkin Park, obviously. Yeah, I saw Linkin Park live. Yeah, in like 2003 or something. It was so good. I was so nervous because it was like my first real gig, and I got to go see Linkin Park. First band I ever saw play was No Doubt. Second band was Linkin Park. Yeah, they were both really amazing gigs. But if we want to talk like more cool and like modern stuff, I think Hate Rock probably, or my favorite live band of the last couple of years, because I haven't seen that many bands live. Like, I'm the worst. I don't go to gigs anymore. Well, COVID kind of sorted that out for me. But yeah, Hate Rock was like the last gig I saw before COVID that made me cry. And afterwards I spoke to Janine, and I think I made her uncomfortable because I was all like, oh yeah, I loved it. And I got to fangirl a little bit, which I don't do very often because yeah, I don't go out very much. Okay. What country has your favorite cuisine? Well, I really, really love Italian food, which is so just basic. Other than that, Indonesia, because I grew up in Indonesia, and those like flavors are probably some of my favorite flavors, like peanut sauce on everything, and the curries there are really good. So yeah, Indonesian after Italian. Italian's what I cook the most often. Wait, I need to read this through. I could tell. What's this about Tool? Oh my god! You know what? Like, Maynard James Keenan is actually one of the voices that I enjoy singing along to the most, because I think he just got a similar range to me. And singing A Perfect Circle alone in my room was one of the ways that I like trained to become a singer when I was a teenager. I just used to sing along to A Perfect Circle nonstop. Maynard James Keenan is definitely like on my top list of singers. For sure. I would love to see Tool live as well.
Sick.
Yeah, I think that'd be really sick. Do you listen to any metal music? I listen to Alcest. That's kind of the extent of my metal fandom, but I fucking love Alcest, like mega. They're also a band, like a live band that I absolutely love, and I've seen them play like 10 times. Really, really love Alcest. I even went to go see them play in Mexico City when I played there, because they played the night before. And I'm actually friends with the band, so I was able to like write to them and be like, "Hey, can you just like quickly throw me on the list, and I'll come see you play?" And then it was really intense because outside there were so many knockoff T-shirts being sold, and like there was like a stream of fans like wishing they could get into the gig. I didn't realize like how big Alcest were in Mexico. Well, they're kind of big everywhere now, but I've sort of watched them get bigger and bigger. And yeah, that was super intense. And then there was no way I was allowed to go backstage to say hello to them, because the backstage was just like prison guards everywhere. It was super intense. Yeah, but great show. Great show. Do I have any pets? Oh, bring him over. Bring him over. Bring him in. This is Renly. This is my boy. This is my boy. He's basically the cutest creature ever to have existed. And he's also extremely smart and has a lot of personality. And he's really into balls, but he's not into being on the live stream, I'm afraid. So off he goes. He's going back to his daddy. Oh, in which country was the video for To the Core filmed? If you mean like the sort of home video footage that I used, that was all Indonesia from when I was a child there. All the like, yeah, and that's me with our. There was an orangutan. Like the orangutan in the To the Core video is Dolly, and she was an orphaned baby orangutan that one of the employees at the mine my dad worked at had adopted from like a market because her mom had been killed, and he was raising her like a daughter, and so me and her were the same age and we became really good friends. So yeah, that's in the To the Core video. I used footage of me and Dolly. It's some of the most like that, watching that for the first time after 10 years, because the footage was on analog cameras and it had to get digitized, and when I first saw it as an adult I was like really really emotional about it. So To the Core was my little tribute to Dolly. It was quite sad. She, at 2 years old, she got taken to a rehabilitation center because it's totally illegal to be just like raising an orangutan, right? But at this point in the early 90s, the rehabilitation centers in Indonesia were not very good yet. And she was not rehabilitated properly. And she ended up dying in the wild, which, yeah, fucking sucks. She and I would be the same age. Like, if she was still alive, we'd just be like friends. So that would be awesome. Anyway, I made that video as a little tribute to her. Wait. Oh my god, I've lost track of the. This is moving too fast. Oh, what's in the planning on releases for Flash Records? There's just one thing in the works right now, and it's like a really really awesome EP from one of my really really good friends, and I think you're all gonna love it. Um, yeah. Also, Chris Baha has been working on it as well, so it's got, yeah, it's a really 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 good release. I just heard it the other day properly, and I'm very excited about it. Oh my god, what was your first album? If you mean like the first album that I owned, it was Like a Prayer by Madonna. Yeah. The CD, the jewel case of that CD got like smashed to pieces over the years just from me like ripping it open all the time. I love that album. Still do. Still do. Um, okay.
Do you play any video games? Someone is asking.
Oh, do I play any video games? I used to be really, really into World of Warcraft when I was in my early 20s. And that kind of like I had to leave it the way that a junkie has to put down their heroin. You know, it was a problem, and I couldn't keep going like that. And I've had this sort of like wistful like thought about gaming again for the last couple of years because, you know, especially with COVID, I was like, well, fuck, this is the time. This is the time to start playing again. And I miss that feeling. I miss that just sinking into gaming. You know, you're just in this alternate universe. It's a lot like heroin. I mean, I've never taken heroin, but I just feel like it must be something like as comforting as that to just be able to be like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna play. I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna like tune out. Uh, but yeah, I haven't done it in a long time. But because on tour with Linear Aspera, we're gonna have some long drives. I just ordered a Nintendo Switch, so I'm about to get back into the game.
That's a good game.
Yeah, give me some game recommendations if any of you have any like recommendations for Switch, because that would be sick. Uh, I don't know what to play. I just got back into trying to figure out what to play, and I'm like, what the fuck? There's so much. And games have changed a lot in the last 10 years. So yeah, I think I'm gonna start with Skyrim or something because I used to really love Oblivion too. I played Oblivion to death. Oh yeah, that's another one. Like I have nostalgic memories for Oblivion, as if I was there, as if that really was a place that I used to go. Favorite film? Mandy. Mandy is so, so good. If any of you have not seen Mandy, you need to watch Mandy. I also really love Nicolas Cage in general. That's just something that, yeah, I really like Nicolas Cage. Ah, Witcher 3. I did see that. Okay. Witcher 3. I think that's probably, considering my World of Warcraft origins, it's probably a good idea. And Zelda too. I'm definitely gonna get Zelda. Okay. Are there any other questions that I missed? Oh, any plans to play in Moscow? Yes! February 2020 with Linnea Aspera, not with Zanias yet, but Zanias will happen. Okay, go on, scrolling up, scrolling up. Thoughts on some of the early post-punk scene like Bauhaus and the more recent stuff like Lebanon Hanover. I loved Bauhaus. I loved Susie and the Banshees. I'm a goth. Like I'm a grown-up goth. And all of that stuff was what raised me musically. I definitely preferred Susie and the Banshees and The Cure to like most of the other things. But yeah, I've sort of moved on from that now though, and I do feel like the modern scene is a bit boring. I shouldn't have just said that like live, but I do think that people need to kind of move on from certain genres and allow music to evolve and allow things to get just a little bit different. And I worry sometimes that the modern bands doing this don't really think forward enough. And I might have just pissed off a bunch of my friends by saying that. But yeah, I don't think I can put this online after this if I just, yeah. Anyway, oh, favorite Belgian musicians in electronic music? I guess like Front 242 probably up there, but like the old stuff, the more recent stuff is fine, but I'm just more familiar with the old stuff with Front 242. Dead Can Dance, yes. Zanias in Prague, hopefully next year. Hopefully. Will I do a Madonna cover? I definitely want to. I have one in the works that never got finished, and yeah, it's just doing covers. Eventually, after I've done all this work on a track, I'm like, well, shit, I should have just done a new track instead of doing a cover. Covers are nice though; they are fun. They could be fun. I mean, I've never done one, but yes, I did actually. I did a cover of Carly Simon's "Why" in my very early Zanias gigs when I didn't have enough songs to fill a gig. I used to play Carly Simon's "Why," and it was like this really stripped down industrial version where I just like bang on a drum and go, "Why does your love hurt so much?" Yeah, it was a bit embarrassing. Uh, do I watch football or any sports? For my father, I will say I do watch Australian football to make him happy. And if there's anyone Australian out there who knows anything about Australian football, I'm officially a Hawks supporter. Go Hawks. It's not really, it's honestly not like a thing that I care about in the slightest, but because my dad really cares, I pretend to care. Yeah. But I don't get sports. My dog Renly, he loves balls. But I don't love them in quite the same way. Uh, wait, I saw another good question up there. And now I've missed it. Now I've missed it. Have I read a good book recently or can I recommend one? I've been really bad at reading lately, but I can definitely recommend Idoru by William Gibson because that was honestly the last, even though I read it a couple of years ago now, it was the last book that I really, really, really loved. And there's one called Light by, oh, fuck, what's the name of I forgot. I'm terrible at these sorts of questions because I just forget the names of authors and I'm really, really bad at, yeah, I'm really bad at remembering things in general. Have I used cryptocurrencies? Yes. I'm quite into the crypto world and I'm hoping that it can maybe change things for musicians and stuff, like because now there's potential systems that can allow us to get paid fairly, like if Spotify was on the blockchain and we got paid, per stream, like automatically, like there's definitely a lot of potential progress in crypto. What I don't like is, that there's all these sort of tech bros just using it to inflate their wealth even further. I think that's pretty lame. And I really wasn't a fan of how Elon Musk was screwing things up earlier this year. But yeah, I mean, anything to do with money is going to get fucked by capitalists no matter what. So we just have to sort of make the best of it. Ah, what next? Am I an IT nerd? Not really. Like I am a little bit, but not as much as I wish I could be because I just don't understand things well enough. I don't know how a computer works. I wish I did. I really wish I did. Wait, do I like The Coil? Do you mean Coil? Yes, I love Coil. Fantastic, fantastic band. Wish I could have seen them live, and I'm very sad that they're dead. Have I ever hooked up with a girl? Yes. Uh, what do you think about world ethno music? Have you ever listened to artists from that genre? I actually really, really love like through Dead Can Dance. I love a lot of world music and stuff sort of related to that, and it's the sort of things that get played at ayahuasca ceremonies, and the sorts of things that burners like to listen to. Because my sister's a burner and she's really into that kind of music, and it's sort of like a little bit tribal and a little bit like mysterious. Yeah, I love that, but I don't know any of the artists. Like I don't remember any of the names. Dead Can Dance are the only like sort of world music ethnic fusion band that I remember. Okay, what's next? Do I use real synthesizers? No! I only use VSTs now. I got rid of all my synths because I just got sick of having stuff. And now everything can be done inside the computer. So I like to do that because then I can also just move wherever I want and make music wherever. And I'm not restricted. And I don't need to plug cables in. And cable spaghetti really like makes me, yeah, it stresses me out. What DAW do I use? Ableton Live, baby. It's the best. And would you rather explode in popularity or remain slightly more underground? You know, I would love to be able to just like cruise at whatever fucking level can just keep my rent paid and have me not need to worry about answering to anyone. The thing that concerns me most is just like, okay, there's two things. I want to I want to make enough money that I can live well because we live in a capitalist society and unfortunately you need money in order to live like a decent life. So I want to get to that level. And I sort of have reached it, but you know that you can always do a bit better. And if I want to have kids and like a family and stuff, it needs to get a bit better. But I'm fucking terrified of people knowing me. I'm actually I find this whole fame thing like really, really difficult. I even find the relationship between me and my fans like a little bit weird sometimes. And I'm like, wait, you think you know me, but I don't know you, and you somehow like have a reason to be nice to me that isn't just because you like me. I don't know. There's just like this, I get super weirded out by the whole people knowing who I am thing. And even just like posting on Instagram can become a bit of an existential crisis of like, oh my God, people are going to see this and people are looking at my face. And right now, like, whoa, my blood pressure is really going high because it's like there's a bunch of people I can see. There's 101 people watching me live. And I don't know anyone, but you all know me, or you think you know me, but you don't. And it's so weird. So yeah, I wouldn't want to explode in popularity too much because that just terrifies me. It terrifies me to be that well known. And I'd always want to be able to walk down the street without people, like normal people, recognizing me. Oh, and that was one of the questions from Patreon. Have you ever been recognized in public by a fan? Yes, I have. And it's very strange when that happens because you're just not expecting it. You'd have someone like be like, "Oh, hello," and you're like, what? Do I know you?" But I've also had this happen at clubs in Berlin where I've been, you know, completely out of my mind, and someone has had this like look of recognition at me, and I'm like, "Oh, hello," and I'm like, "Oh, I must know this person," and so I go like, "Hey, nice to see you," and then they go, "Oh no, we've never met before. Just like your music," and I die a little bit inside, but it's all fine. It's really nice that people like my stuff. Like that is a wonderful thing. I'll never not appreciate the fact that people like what I make. I think that's awesome. And it warms my heart. Okay, what next? How is your artistic process in general? Is there a certain pattern, like first the music, then the lyrics? Yeah, so I always start with the beat, and like it can just be a really basic beat though. It can just be like boom, just to get things moving, and then I do bass lines and melodies. And again, I don't go too deep into sound design or anything. I just like find sound I like, just go with it, create the chords of the verse and then the potential chorus, and then I'll just like record some vocal loops of just like like whatever comes to mind, and no words at this point. And then I just loop those things up and then create like, see how things work and then add new bits on top if those are nice. And so yeah, I just like layer things up until I think I've got some nice melodic elements, and then I start to write lyrics. And usually the lyrics just sort of come to me in this like really natural kind of, okay, this sounds right, and this song's making me think about this event, and then it all kind of falls together that way. And often the lyrics are the thing that takes me the longest because I need to get those words like just right. Or sometimes I just use the first thing that comes into my head, which is what I mainly did with Unearthed. And then it's mainly like, okay, like that works, but now, okay, I've got to find other lines that make sense with this one. And then that takes me a really long time. Oh, if interstellar travel becomes possible in the future, would you consider traveling to planets in different systems? Yeah, it really depends on how easy it is. I mean, if it's really simple and like we're talking like full on sci-fi, just like, boom, like hop in the wormhole thing and travel sort of, I don't know, Dune style with the spice, um, then yeah, I'd totally be down. But if it involves like years and years and years of being in a tiny little space, then definitely not. I can't handle that. I hate planes enough. Like I'm sick of it. I just want to be on Earth. Earth is pretty nice too. I'm really happy with Earth, and I think it's pretty silly to be trying to go to other planets in general. I'm not one of those accelerationists desperate to get to Mars by any means. Ah, so many nice things. Okay. Oh, what's the linear asked for a song about a parasite? What, Malaran? And it's about a parasitic person who I had to remove. I think we've all been there. I think we all understand Malaran. I think that's why Malaran became quite big, because it was like this thing that we can all relate to. Ah, oh, someone mentions Gaspar Noé. Yes, I love Gaspar Noé. Definitely my favorite French filmmaker because I don't know any others off the top of my head. But Enter the Void is one of my favorite films for sure. Okay. Are there any other questions here that I like completely missed? I'm having a hard time like reading everything because of the heart rate going so fast.
What would
Uh,
your favorite festival be to play?
oh, my favorite festival to play. Oh, it's just fucking Kalabalik Festival. I've already played it a bunch of times, and it's the only one that I really want to play because most festivals are not that fun to play. Like you sort of just get thrown on stage. You have to do a line check. Everything's really chaotic, and no one's even there to see you. They might have been up for like 3 days, and so festivals are something that I'm not super into to either attend or to play. But Kalabalik is the one festival that I both attend and play. And this year was the first year I didn't go, and it was very sad.
Do
Oh,
you,
am I a cat person or a dog person? Now this is interesting. I have my sweet Renly here. He's my shadow. However, close your ears, Renly. I have a cat in Australia, and his name's Danielle. He's a boy, but he's called Danielle because of reasons. But anyway, he's like he owns my heart more than any other living creature on this planet. And I consider myself both a cat and a dog person, but it's just when I'm around Danielle, I just like maybe I've got what's it called? There's like some thing that people get, like a parasite that you get from cats that makes you like love cats even more. What the fuck is that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
Fuck. Okay, anyway, there's like, is it like toxoplasmosis or something? Yes, toxoplasmosis. Okay, so it's this thing that you get like from cats, and it makes you like more doting on cats. And I'm pretty sure I must have it because when I'm around Danielle, I'm just like, oh Danielle, oh what can I do for you? I'll like literally do anything for this cat, and he sleeps in my arms every single night. And every day I'm just like, where's Danielle? All I care about is Danielle. When I arrive at my family's home, it's like, hi mom, hi dad. Okay, Danielle, oh Danielle, Danielle, Danielle. I'm just so obsessed with this cat. So I don't really love that many other cats though. Like cats have to be really amazing for me to love them. They have to be so fucking affectionate and loving, and most cats aren't like that. So I think like in general I'm a dog person, but when the right cat comes along, fucking cat person. Like to the max. Yeah. Oh, now cats were domesticated. If you met Danielle, you would know that cats were domesticated. Oh, he's domesticated me. I think maybe he's domesticated me, but I feel like maybe dogs have domesticated us too, because I swear Renly has trained me. He's trained all of us. He trains every human he meets to give him exactly what he wants.
Not me.
All right. Oh, can the dog talk, or is there another person in the room? There's another person in the room. I needed to have one other person. I needed to have one other person here so I wasn't just speaking to the void, because this is so weird. It's like I needed a live studio audience, and I wanted to have a little light that said like applause, laugh. But no. Uh oh, are you surfing, and what are your favorite spots around the globe? I do surf, not very well. It's my favorite thing in the whole world to do, I think. I started when I was 28, so anyone out there who's like thinking that they're too old, you're never too old to start surfing. I should have surfed at a much younger age because I grew up in like in Malaysia and Indonesia, and I'm Australian, so I should have learned earlier. But for some reason, like I was fine with bodyboarding all those years, and then at 28, I finally took to standing up, and now I'm like, whoa, this is the shit. My favorite place on earth is Point Road Beach in Victoria. It's got the best break in the whole world. It's just the best. And since that's where I grew up surfing or like bodyboarding, and it's where I go to surf now, most other places just aren't as good. Although I really like Praia Grande in Portugal. That's where I was surfing over the summer. Fantastic. Uh, and in Queensland, I like to go to Tea Tree Bay in Noosa. God, I'm just like giving any stalkers out there just like a little checklist to, to come hunt me down. But it's all good. Those are the best places. Tea Tree Bay in Noosa is honestly like paradise on earth. I'm in love with that place. Oh, do I speak some Indonesian? Yes, I do. Selamat datang. But I've forgotten so much of it, it actually makes me kind of ashamed. So yeah, it's a bit sad. I remember all the food names. I remember all the foods. So give me a menu in Indonesian and I can decode that thing. But unfortunately, my conversational skills are too embarrassing to do on a live stream. My favorite European country? That's a difficult one to choose. Right now, I'm really into Portugal because of the surfing. Oh, what was the biggest issue settling from Australia to Berlin? Lack of sun. I was living in London before here, so I thought I knew lack of sun, but lack of sun is a whole other deal in Berlin. Like it's like right now, it's middle of September and most of the days are grey, and they will be like this until April. So yeah, it's shit. It's really, really hard. Also Germans are like, if you're Australian, German customer service and just like sort of ways of interacting in general, it can sometimes be a little abrasive. So you get used to it, but you also don't. Eventually you get sick of it. Oh, and some independent musicians in Berlin. You know what? Like I'm just friends with so many Dejars in Berlin that I don't know enough of the like, the underground musicians per se. But I mean, Sally Dia, she is, I mean, she's already quite well known, but she deserves to be way more well known. Like, she is fucking awesome. And obviously, like my Deja friends, like Rekka, she makes amazing music, and Unhuman, they're all on Byte Records, run by Faze Patel, and I think Faze Patel gets enough attention. You don't need to give him more attention. um, and obviously Pablo Bozzi, he's also getting a lot more attention now, which is awesome. And his project Infravision, which came out on Flash, like fucking awesome shit. Pablo Bossi is probably my favorite like dance music producer right now, just because everything he makes is just like so euphoric and fun. So yeah, that's I just named all my Berlin friends really. And also Neuromancer is a name that you should remember for the future, but I can't announce anything more on that right now. So oh yeah, and non-human. They're really cool. I really like them. If that's how you pronounce the NNHMN. I think it's non-human. Yeah, they're really cool. If I could only listen to one genre for the rest of your life, what would it be? Obviously pop music, because that can basically include anything. Are the lyrics of Wasteland available somewhere? I should put them online. Thank you for reminding me. Uh Oh, is Linnea asked for a song Attica about some sort of stalker? No, no. Attica, the lyrics to Attica are words that were said to me in a very weird situation. I basically just took everything this person said to me and turned it into lyrics, and it was fucking amazing. And to be fair, I was not like stalking. I was just being like a dumb young person. Okay. Do I have any opinions on power electronics like White House? Not really. I don't have any strong opinions. When I was younger, I used to enjoy going to power electronics gigs in London, but I haven't been to any in quite some time, and I'm not super familiar with White House. Uh, she passed away cool. I feel like they kind of just made the most goth sounding music ever. Like, didn't they? They just like made the most goth sounding music ever. So they kind of like peaked the genre. And I almost feel like now that they've done that, now that they made like the most goth music ever, it's like we can we're done. We're done. It's it's over now. They win. Oh yeah, will I tour the USA and surf in San Diego? Yes, obviously. I need to rent a board when I'm there. I will definitely surf when I'm in California. Am I into Goa trance? Recently, yes. Well, not recently, like over the last couple of years, I started to explore that. Obviously, like being into psychedelics, you have to give trance a go. And some of those tracks are really cool. Like it does verge on super mega cheesy occasionally, but yeah, I really do like I like a bit of Goa. And I want to go to a Goa trance like festival at some point and experience that whole thing. Okay. Are there any other questions that I missed like way up?
What's the story behind solar flare?
Oh, the story behind Solar Flare. That's actually a really beautiful one. I wrote Solar Flare for my sister. It's all about uh, we. So, God, do I give like the whole story? Yeah, okay, I'll give the whole story. So we were on her birthday that year. I'd just been through some like really traumatic shit, like really fucked up stuff, and she took me away on a trip to Greece where we ended up taking acid together in the Blue Cove on the island of Ithaca. And while we were tripping on acid together, I really saw like how powerful my sister is, because my sister's like fucking powerful. She's an absolute force of nature, and like I'm tearing up just like saying this because I love her so much, and she's like this other half of me that is the opposite in so many ways. We always said that she's the sun and I'm the moon, and so that's why in the song I'm like, you are the sun. And it's like all pretty literal. Like, I know what you're capable of because I saw it on the shores of Ithaca. Like, it's literally that. I saw who she is on the shores of Ithaca. And I hope I haven't ruined that song by like giving the literal explanation. Yeah, my sister's a very, very powerful creature. And that song is just all about that. Oh, and yeah, I wrote all the lyrics for Linnea Aspera. Ryan does all the music, and I do all the lyrics and all the vocals. It's actually really funny the way that we work is just so separately and so chill. Like he sends me an instrumental, and I'm like, "Fuck, that's great," and then I send him back the vocals, and he's like, "Great." And that's literally how every Linnea Aspera song has been written. There has not been a single moment of like, "Oh, can we change this?" No, doesn't happen. He does his bit, I do my bit, and we're just cool. It works. Oh, which of my songs hits the most emotionally when I perform it? Definitely Solar Flare gets me really teary. And also the two Linnea Aspera gigs I just played, Equilibrium fucked me right up. Like I couldn't get through it because it's a song about surfing. And I was just thinking, like, as I'm like singing the second chorus of the song, I was just like, oh my God, I'm not going to get to surf for like a long time. And then I just started breaking down and I couldn't get through the song. Anyone who was at that Berlin gig, you would have seen that in Equilibrium, I'm just like, I couldn't even get the words out because Equilibrium just fucking killed me. Yeah, I miss surfing a lot. I miss it a lot. Oh, is decoherence about people idolizing a version of you they don't know or something else? Yeah, it could be about that actually. That's a good kind of way of expanding it onto um, something new. Because originally it was about just a specific person creating an effigy of me. It was about basically, when you're in a really bad relationship, but the other person seems to be in a really good relationship, and it's like, wait, sorry, things are not as you think they are. Uh, yeah, it's about that. It's about someone thinking that everything was fine and it's not. Because, yeah. Oh, is there going to be a Harmeline vinyl release? I've got to update everyone on that. So there was a Bandcamp vinyl, what was the word? Like a crowdfunding thing for that. And it got funded and everything, and everyone's going to get their records. The record's coming in December because the worldwide vinyl industry is mega, mega delayed. And yeah, that's that's just how it is. But there will be extra copies available for people who didn't pledge on the Bandcamp crowdfunding. There are going to be extra copies available that I'll put on Bandcamp. So yeah, everyone will hopefully get their Harmeline vinyl copy who wants one. Do I know the KVB? Yes, I do. I'm old friends with them from many, many years ago. I haven't seen them in ages though. The story behind Linnea Aspera's Synapse? It's just about having a crush on someone. That's it. It's just about having a crush on someone. And that song has been redefined over and over and over for me because I just keep, having crushes on cuter and cuter people. And yeah, now every time I sing it, I think about the most recent one. Okay, more questions. Ah, it's moving too fast. You seem to embrace nature and the elements in your videos, mind, body, and spirit. Can you explain these connections as well as the welcome solitude? Uh, I mean, all I can say is that it's just like nature is where I feel the most at peace. It's the place where I get the most inspiration. My mom's a tropical biologist, so I grew up in rainforests a lot, and so I've always just felt like really, really connected to nature. And yeah, that's my connection there, and it's where everything kind of feels aligned, mind, body, and spirit. Am I familiar with artists such as Death in June or Orzo Rosarius Equilibrio? I don't know the latter. I do know the former, Death in June. I was a big fan of Death in June in my more goth times. Still a few bangers in there. Um, but yeah, I haven't listened to them in a very long time. Oh, and releasing Into the All again on vinyl. I don't know. That really depends because it's just pressing a record is a lot of money and a lot of expense, and I'd have to sort of do it from the beginning because I've taken it back from the label that released it. So I'd have to just like do the whole thing all over again. It wouldn't be like a repress. So yeah, maybe not. Sorry, boring answer, but probably not. Reissuing vinyl is really a bit of a pain, and I try to just focus on the new music when I can because yeah, better to do stuff with new material. Focus on the future. Do I have dreams when I sleep? Fuck yeah, I have a lot of dreams. I also really like to lucid dream. I lost one of my another one of the cats that I was obsessed with. I lost him 10 years ago, almost to the month, and I've been using lucid dreaming to like be with him again. So I'll just be like, the moment I realize I woke up in a dream, I'm like, yeah, get Roz here, Roz, come, and then I snuggle with him, and then it's like more real than real, and then I'll wake up feeling quite sad but happy that I saw him again. So yeah, lucid dreaming is awesome, especially yeah, if you've lost someone and you can conjure them. Conjuring people is really hard. I haven't been able to conjure people so far. I only got the cat, but I'll definitely try with people when I've got some freshly deceased loved ones. Okay, sometimes I need to just stop talking. Have I ever had an ayahuasca experience? Yes, I have. Changed my life a lot. Um, it was rough though. It was like the most difficult thing ever. My big trip. Like I've done some light trips, but the big one was like that fucked everything up. But it also it made me a much better person. And I think anyone who is interested in trying ayahuasca definitely should. It's something that yeah, you shouldn't be afraid of it. If you feel you're ready for it, just go for it because I think there's huge potential for healing from ayahuasca. And 5-MeO DMT feels like the next step beyond that because it's like even more efficient. I probably shouldn't turn this into like a drug information session. Do I only wear black? Seems like it. I wish it wasn't the case, but yeah, I can't help it. I just always wear black. And I'm blending into my couch. I just realized I'm like completely completely invisible there. Am I a practitioner or like a magician or a witch with any affiliations? No, no. I'm disappointingly quite vanilla and don't do any stuff like that. But I have big respect for people who do that kind of stuff. I think it's very cool. What's my favorite drug? 5-MeO DMT. Favorite in terms of like life-changing ability. In terms of like overall enjoyment, probably LSD. Just like for microdosing and stuff. What are my thoughts on using psilocybin to help with depression? Fuck yes. Fucking effective. That's all I can say. All of these substances are so effective. And I don't know why they're illegal. I think it's completely insane that they're illegal. All of this stuff should be legal. All of this stuff should be regulated and administered in safe environments. And I think we'd be a much happier society as a result. But the problem is that, yeah, these things wake us up to values beyond those that make us good workers and good consumers. So, yeah, for the status quo to remain in place, things can't be too widely available. But yeah, I feel like psychedelics hold the best promise for treating depression more than anything, but mainly because they can alter our perceptions to the point that we can make a better society. I don't believe in just using them to sort of treat depression in that, like, oh, you're sad and this is going to make you happy. No, what it should do is wake you up to the fact that our society is sick and things need to change and we need to be kinder to each other. And it's more about the change that comes about from the value alteration that takes place rather than just like here's a happy pill. I don't believe in that. Do I like philosophy? Yes, of course. I really like philosophy. I really love ContraPoints, and I feel like she's like the best sort of YouTube philosopher out there. Just wanted to drop that in. She's awesome. Okay. Favorite art styles outside of music? I mean, like in terms of the just visual art, or I don't really know how to answer that question. I just like stuff that moves me. I just like anything that moves me, and whether it's visual or moving or static or audio, like I feel like there's not really boundaries between different types of art anymore. Everything's becoming very interactive. Everything's becoming, yeah, all over the place. So I like all forms of artistic expression. Do I know Jordan Peterson and what do I think of him? I don't know enough about him to like be able to form a coherent opinion here, but the stuff that I have heard, it's like, yeah,
He needs a
um,
daddy.
yeah, he needs a daddy. uh, Take it easy, my dude, but take it. Yeah, agreed. Will I cut my hair again? Maybe not. I don't know. I don't think so. Did COVID lockdown change me? If yes, how exactly? Yeah, it did totally change me. It made me realize I'm a massive introvert. It made me realize that I need a lot more time, like to myself, to be able to make things properly. And it helped me discover it. It helped me discover my production style. It helped me become a better producer, a better artist in general. I think it just really fucking like, I hate to say it, but like COVID was a bit of a blessing for me, and that's the most. God, I'm so blessed. Hashtag blessed. Well, millions of people have died. Fuck. But just my personal experience, even like it was also very hard. It was also a really hard thing to go through, being separated from my family and being alone, and all of that. Like just the person I am now on the other side, I wouldn't go back. I just wouldn't go back from all this stuff that happened. It's yeah, it was definitely for me it was definitely a more valuable experience than an unvaluable experience, if that makes sense. Who came up with the idea to shoot the unseen video with so many facial expressions? That was me. It's all me. I don't. No one else comes up with my ideas unless like they obviously like make the video. For example, Michael Tan came up with the unearthed video ideas, but everything. If I'm the director, then it's my ideas. Oh, does live performing raise my mood even if I'm really down before the gig starts? Is a gig a kind of drug? It can be, but it can also backfire. I guess it's a bit like a psychedelic. If you take it in a bad mood, it can make things really, really bad. Like I've walked off stage and just like wanted to die, basically. It really depends. It depends on how the gig goes, and I do think a lot of sort of mental preparation needs to go into making sure that you kind of defend yourself against what a gig can do to you rather than be totally open and vulnerable to it. I know some performers do gain so much from from performing that they need to be wide open. I actually tend to block out what the performance does to me because I want to keep it like pretty. I just don't want it to be able to disrupt my general state. So yeah, I have this big mental block that goes down. So I don't let it be a drug, I guess. I can't. Although it can definitely like feel really nice to get off stage. Mainly if you have a bandmate. If you don't have a bandmate and you're alone, it can just make you want to die. But with Ryan, for example, with Linnea Aspera, when we get off stage, like we're just like, nice one, mate. It's really nice. All right. Will I do more cooperations with Pablo Bozzi, Kendall, and Infravision? Possibly. Um, we might have some remixes in the works. We'll see. But yes, definitely not going to be parting with those boys anytime soon. They're part of the crew. Do I listen to any black metal? Not really. Not really. I mean, Alcest kind of have a little bit of black metal in them, but yeah, I wish I knew a bit more because definitely there's some cool vibes going on in black metal. Oh, any genres of music that I can't stand at all? I think like some of this really fast sort of hardcore shit that some DJs have been playing lately. It's pretty bad. Like I really can't stand when it's just like like that I can't. I just can't. Pisses me off. And I'm like, what is that racket? Can someone turn it down? Okay, where are we? Where are we? Okay. So more about the idea behind Unearthed and why all the titles begin with un. All my releases with Zanias, I need to have some kind of concept behind the titles. Have any of you noticed that when you read out the titles to the core that they form a sentence? Because I think a lot of people just didn't notice that, and I put so much effort into creating this like sentence, and no one seemed to even notice that it's a sentence. So yeah, they form a sentence, and then all the titles to Into the All are all related to Ken Wilber's Up from Eden. It's all just like the it's about sort of human consciousness evolution, and then yeah, with Extinction, they're all related to extinction, and with Harmaline, they're all related to just like this sort of psychological transformation. And then with Unearthed, I just felt like everything was coming undone. Everything was like unraveling. I just kept seeing in the news, you know, all these unwords. Everything was it was all the undoing, the great undoing. So yeah, I just felt like it was going to be an album about things coming undone. And I couldn't call it Undone because fucking Contravoid, he took that name already, and so I didn't call any of them Undone. But I found a bunch of other unwords. It wasn't too hard. I wrote down all the unwords I could think of, and then I was sort of matching up the song titles to each of those. It was all a bit silly. All of my creative process is all a bit silly, and it involves me being on like RhymeZone or thesaurus.com. Okay, tell us what inspires you. Life. Um, being a conscious ape, just this whole mess of existing. It's really weird. And sometimes I just step outside myself and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Um, and that's just, I find all the weird stuff that goes on in here, particularly like the way we feel these emotions in our bodies, like they need to come out somehow. And that's what the music is. It's just bringing the internal out there to share it with other people so that maybe they can feel a bit less alone. Sorry, what's my skincare routine? You know, as I was doing my makeup for this, I am actually wearing makeup. I don't wear very much of it. I was looking in the mirror and being so pissed off at my skin. I was like, there is no way anyone's going to ask me what my skincare routine is because my skin is so bad. So that's really lovely that that you asked that. Um, I don't really have a very good routine. I just try a bunch of different things to try to get rid of my pimples, and nothing ever helps. I use retinols to slow the aging process. Nothing reverses it. And then I use moisturizer, and I use CeraVe face wash, but yeah. So my skin's terrible though. It's actually terrible. My boyfriend loves it because he gets to pop all my pimples. What are the darkest things that inspire your music? And do you have any advice to musicians that only get inspired from and reflect darkness in their music? Well, I mean, you sure it's darkness? Maybe you should just like, flip it. I don't really believe in darkness. I think that most of the stuff driving my music is actually very light. It's all about love. It's all about wanting to connect with people. It's all about wanting to be happy, I think it's all this is very light. And my advice is to just try to reframe what you're approaching as darkness. Everything can be reframed. Who would you like to become when you grow up? I don't know. When I was younger, I could answer that question a lot better. Now I've sort of just become it, and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm growing up. Yeah, I would like to just sort of become a bit of a loner, if I'm totally honest. I just want to go live in the middle of nowhere and cut myself off from society. Oh, I've never heard of Serbian turbo folk music, but apparently I need to check that out because it's some of the worst noise. Great. Oh, a herbal liver detox for the skin. All right, good advice. Good advice. All right. Would it be possible to mix dark wave with blues? I guess you can mix anything. You can mix any genre you want. I'm gonna be mixing a bunch of weird shit in the new album. Like, it's gonna be very very strange. Oh, could I explain endling? And so the endling, and my God, thank you for like writing it with the L in there because it's endling, not ending. I saw so many people write ending when they're referring to this track, and no, it's endling because the endling is the last of a species. It's the last one to die. So like when you see that picture of the Tasmanian tiger, the thylacine in that black and white, there's a black and white photo of this thylacine. It was the last thylacine known to live, and it was the endling. And it's a super sad word. It's a fucking sad word. And endling is just, yeah, it's me wondering who will be the last to die when we go extinct. And because the sun will inevitably rise again without us. And it's just about how everything goes on without the endling. All the good things come to an end. The story behind Unraveled. Unraveled is full on my song about chasing after someone who's got an avoidant attachment style when you have an anxious attachment style, which I have an anxious attachment style. Yeah, it's just that like, well, clearly I'm I'm everything you're running from because I'm just here. I am wanting to give you love, and you're just like ah. So yeah, it's just that. I've been listening to a lot of this podcast called Just Break Up. And it's a really good podcast if you have any sort of relationship issues or just want to listen in to the sorts of heartbreaks people go through. And I'm really, really inspired by the stories in that. Actually, that's something I've got to bring up. It's not only my stories that inspire me, it's also just listening to Just Break Up and seeing the sorts of things that people go through. Yeah, so I was listening to a lot of Just Break Up, and so many people write in with this like, oh, I really like this person, and they'll seem to be into me, but then they just like don't call for 2 weeks. And it's just such a classic story. It's just, yeah, they're avoidant, you're anxious, it's never going to work. And Unraveled is just all about that. So yeah, if only I were enough to deserve your wounded love. Turns out like you are fucking enough. And if you're asking yourself that question, run the fuck away from that person. Okay. Oh, tell us a funny childhood story. I mean, I've told you about. I've already told you about the orangutan, Dolly. She was pretty cool. I mean, I've got a lot. I grew up. I had a really weird upbringing because my dad is a mining engineer and my mom is a tropical biologist. So we grew up I grew up in Indonesia. When I was born, actually, we were living in Papua New Guinea, and my mum flew back to Australia to give birth to me, and then went back to Papua New Guinea with me as a baby. And so I spent my first 6 months in Papua New Guinea, but a civil war broke out there because we were on the island of Bougainville. And anyone who's Australian, like hearing the word Bougainville is going to sound really funny, but that is literally the name of the island. It's an actual place, and there's no bogans there. And anyway, a civil war broke out, and we had to evacuate the fuck out of there. And we left everything behind, like our house, our dogs, all our shit. Like we just left it and fucked off. And yeah, it's like this like mild family trauma that I was a baby and therefore completely completely oblivious to. But we were really lucky to get out of there as well. A lot of our friends who were actually from there weren't so lucky, and a lot of them died of malaria and stuff over the years that followed. Yeah, it was a very, very fucked up situation regarding the government there and the mine, which definitely shouldn't have been there. And yeah, really, it's a weird thing. Maybe I won't go into like sort of the geopolitics of Papua New Guinea right now, but yeah, that's a weird thing. So yeah, childhood story. There we go. I was literally born into a civil war, which is where that Panguna line is from, because I think that I might have suffered a bit of epigenetic effects from the war, because while my mum was pregnant with me, the war was like going on, and she was super stressed all the time, like super stressed. So this is probably why I'm really anxious, because neither of my parents are particularly anxious people, and I'm this like anxiety ridden little like and I think it's probably because of that. Yeah, the epigenetics of war. And there's a story, and that's what Panguna is about. The song Panguna. Panguna is the name of the mine that my dad was working at, and yeah, I mean, if you want to look it up, you can look up like the Bougainville Civil War, Papua New Guinea, 1989, and it's a thing that happened. Have I ever met cannibals? I mean, I've got some stuff to say about cannibalism. So I haven't actually met any, as far as I know, but I grew up in growing up in Borneo. We actually knew a lot of headhunting tribes there, and there's this thing where like cultures get called cannibals and headhunters and stuff like that to like make them seem really barbaric. That's the word I'm looking for. And that's like totally a colonialist kind of let's make the other people look bad thing. And most of the time, cannibalism in societies was something either done really, really, ceremonially, or it probably didn't happen, or it happened out of like extreme starvation situations. Like that's where some of the archaeological sites, because I did do some, I did write an essay on cannibalism in archaeology. It's a long time ago, so I can't remember too many details. But definitely, like cannibals tended to just be like sort of these exaggerated stereotypes about people. So yeah, there weren't that many actual cannibals in history. Where would I like to live in Europe? I think Portugal. I want to move to Portugal. Oh, a collab with Sally would actually be really cool. I'm also really into her work, and I sing along to her songs all the time, which is weird because she's my friend. But I'm on one of her Cult Club tracks. I'm doing backing vocals on one of those, so we did sort of collab already. Oh, how has my vocal practice changed over the years? You can probably hear it. Like in the early linear aspera stuff, I'm like, no, 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 yeah, pretty monotone. And now I try to be a little bit more, do more stuff, because it's just more fun to do more stuff. So yeah, I do a bit more like acrobatics. How long have I been surfing? 4 years. Not long enough. And I wish I could surf more often. Do I have any strange talents or skills? Do I? Help me out here. Strange talents or skills? I don't know. I'm really good at cooking certain things. I'm really good at giving advice. Like I have this amazing advice giving talent because I can see other people's situations really clearly. And if they come to me like with a relationship problem or a life problem, I can just go, no, you got to do that. And I see it super clearly. I'm very wise. Very, very wise. I actually do give really, really good advice. And so if anyone ever wants to help me start some kind of agony aunt show, maybe I should just turn this into an agony aunt live stream at some point where I'll just come on and you guys give me your problems and I'll solve them for you. I'd love that. A collab with Boy Harsha. I don't know. I mean, if they're into it, possibly, possibly. Oh, do I know Eosdis from Moscow, the band? Yes, I was pointed out to them because someone was like, "Wow, this music really reminds me of yours." And I saw and I was like, "Yes, this music reminds me of mine." So that's cool. They're obviously very inspired by what I've done, and that's very touching. Do I like Fruit Loops? I've never eaten Fruit Loops. Never. Never in my life. Do I plan on touring Russia? Yes. Yes, I'll definitely play in Russia in 2022. How do I keep myself in balance? I don't. I spend a lot of my time feeling very unbalanced, but I do yoga and I try to meditate every now and then. All that shit. All my clothes are black. Yes, yes. Do I like tequila? No, I hate it. No, I like to drink red wine, and I'm not that into too many alcoholic beverages in general. All right. Am I interested in visiting Chernobyl? Yeah, that would be awesome, but a little bit frightened of the radioactivity. Have I tried American barbecue? Yes, I have. In Detroit, there is this fucking amazing barbecue place. Like I don't eat meat, but they do a vegan barbecue there as well. And just like all their sauces and stuff were fucking amazing. And I can't remember the name of this place, but it was yeah. Every time I go to Detroit, I eat there. A suggestion on meditation. The Waking Up app by Sam Harris is what like got me properly into it. I really like Sam Harris and everything he does. Even when he pisses people off, I still like what he's saying. I agree with almost everything, and his meditation app is really really good. Have I considered incorporating dance into my video projects? Yes, I want to. I'm really awkward with that stuff, and I want to not be so awkward with it. And I also want to work with some dancers. I've wanted to work with like a Buto dancer called Valentine for ages, and maybe like the time has come. I just need to have him in one of my videos. Okay. Am I vegan? No, I'm just vegetarian, but I believe in everyone should be vegan, and I'm just a fucking glutton, and that's why I'm not. Okay. How important are romantic relationships in general for my creative work? Well, they used to my mishaps in romance used to inspire me a lot. But admittedly now, like, I'm in a very, very nice relationship, and I'm still very inspired. So, yeah, it's pretty central, I guess, because the strong feelings are what move me, and romance has a lot of strong feelings, so naturally, yeah, it happens. I've actually been writing my first love songs ever, uh, on this new album, but they're not, like, cheesy. They're cool. Don't worry, I'm gonna stay dark. I'm gonna stay dark. Are all my songs based on personal experiences? Yes, at the core they are. I get inspired by external stuff and other people's stories, but still at the base of it all, it's all my own experience. And if it isn't, then I can't relate and I can't do it. What's the best nightclub I've been to? Heedy in Tbilisi, Georgia was pretty fucking awesome. Other than that, I really like Berghain. Just I just really like it. It's right near my house. It's really easy to go to, and yeah, one of my best friends plays there a lot, and he has really good taste in music, so that works. Have I eaten tamales de rajas? I don't think I have actually. I don't think I have, although I've had some really good tamales in Chicago. Best DJ, Face Fatale, obviously. Pablo Bozzi, also amazing. Helena Hauff was always like my favorite DJ to go and see, and DJ Stingray as well. Like out of the DJs who I'm not personally friends with. Oh, any classic industrial composers that I'd work with? Obviously, like Trent Reznor, if he was down, I would not say no. Definitely not. New linear Aspera music will come as soon as we've like had time not playing gigs. So yeah, we haven't actually made any new songs since the album, but that will come. It will come. It's just the pandemic wasn't super inspirational for us on that front. I was able to get Zanias work done, but yeah. Oh, Hailong, I really like Hailong, the band. They do really cool live shows. How can we still be with DJs with so many progresses in technologies and software today? Livers have been going on since 20 years now. Yeah, it's been a long time. Yes, Kelowar is dead. US tour, Linear Aspera is coming next year, early next year. Zanias, don't know when, but definitely coming. Anyway, I think I'm gonna have to wrap that up now because it's been an hour and a half, and that's it's a bit excessive. And yeah, I've got to go like eat dinner and stuff like that. But thanks so much for providing me with this very, very strange um, interaction. It was a little one-sided. What's it like being famous? I don't know. I don't know what it's like being famous. Thank God. It's weird enough having people on the internet knowing who I am. So yeah. Thank you, everyone. Oh, you're all really sweet. You're very, very sweet. It's warmed my heart to see all these nice messages, and I'm gonna actually read through the chat eventually and see like all the good questions that I missed. Okay, I have no idea what my dinner's gonna be. I have no idea, no clue. Okay, bye for now, everyone.